what I was going to say, Mike, before we brought up the World Door Slammer Nationals was I want to talk about the latest, greatest, newest piece of Drag Illustrated content, the newest production that we have to offer, the fast approaching Drag Illustrated Awards. We announced this program, was it earlier this week or last week? I think it might have been last week that it got announced.
It was last Thursday.
Yeah, last Thursday we announced this. Yesterday, I believe it was, that we announced, put out our nominees, and I want to dive into that, to be honest. We got 15 total categories. We're inducting 5 people into the all-new Drag Illustrated Hall of Fame. I'm very excited about this program. Very unique the way we're doing it. It's not all about contribution to the sport. It's not all about what you've done or how many championships you've won. We factor all those things into the Drag Illustrated Hall of Fame, but we've also kind of put a wrinkle in that we want to bring people into the Drag Illustrated Hall of Fame that at least to some extent have something of a relationship or some significance to Drag Illustrated and what we've been doing here for almost 2 decades. Not everybody that will go into the Hall of Fame will be somebody that we've had close relationships with, as some of these people will obviously be entering our Hall of Fame. What's the word? Post-mortem? Yep. Is that correct? Yeah. So post-mortem. So obviously it's not going to be, there are plenty of people who have come and gone and contributed greatly to the sport of drag racing, but we want to honor those folks. And to be honest, I'll give you guys a little bit of the origin story, or a little bit of the backstory on the Drag Illustrated Awards and our Racer of the Year award specifically. Is I think if we've learned anything over the years here at Drag Illustrated, I think, again, we've done this for almost 20 years. And I think that we have learned that amongst the most important things that we do when it comes to serving our stated goal, our mission of growing and building the sport of drag racing, it's celebrating and validating the efforts of all these men and women that are burning up the highways and byways of America, chasing the drag racing dream. We know how hard this sport is. We've lived it. We live it still to this day. We love it. We know how grueling it can be. We understand that it's hero on Sunday and zero the following Friday, right? It's such a grueling, challenging sport that is also painfully expensive. I don't care where you're at in the drag racing ecosystem, you're probably spending a lot of money, right? And we've grown to realize how important it is to celebrate and validate and make sure these people, these men and women, our friends, our family, our drag racing community knows that someone's paying attention. Someone appreciates it. Somebody's watching it happen. A lot of people care. Tons of people care. And we need to remind folks of that as often as we can. We really learned this lesson, guys, I think perhaps most significantly with the Drag Illustrated 30 Under 30. And we saw the way over the course of the last 5, 6, 7 years, however long that program's been in existence, how much that means to people. We see it on hero cards. We see it on sponsorship proposals. We see it on resumes, right? I actually got a press release earlier this week from Justin Ashley. I'm sure you guys saw that, announced a primary sponsorship for his Top Fuel car in 2022. And right at the bottom of it, in the boilerplate, the about Justin Ashley, first or second sentence, 2017 Drag Illustrated 30 Under 30 candidate or alumni. And I just think it's important to do these things, to recognize folks and make sure they know that they're making a difference. They're making an impact, and we care. So the Drag Illustrated Awards were born historically, I believe, Mike, JT, how long did we do, the Champions issue?
5, 6 years.
Yeah,
maybe
5, 6
more
years.
than that. But yeah, this is kind of an evolution of the Champions issue, because we got to the point where we were kind of doing the same thing over and over, and it's predictable who's going to be in the Champions issue. And we definitely honor everyone that has won a championship. There's no taking away from anyone that had that set in stone success on the track. But we like to do things
several years too.
Yeah. You know, I mean, we like to do things that are a little bit more subjective, I guess, to where we're making our decisions. We're kind of shooting our shot, making our call when it comes to who's doing what, who's making moves in drag racing. So
we'll get blowback from it.
Oh yeah.
I've already gotten it.
We've already gotten it. We've already gotten it.
Yep.
But I think that we've learned that is kind of the magic of this. And I kind of really want to back up just a little bit. What really kicked this thing off, if I want to be honest about it, was the snub that I believe took place in 2021 or 20, whenever it was here recently, that Erica Enders, NHRA Pro Stock champion, and one of the most celebrated and talented natural drivers that our sport has to offer. Erica was nominated by ESPN for an ESPY Award, Driver of the Year,
which is that's a huge deal in itself to even be nominated. And I think that's something I wanted to. Yeah, yes. She has actually. Yeah. And I wanted to mention that too, is that, like you mentioned about Justin Ashley, each one of our 30 under 30 inductees are included in it. But even those folks that we released in the press release earlier this week that are nominees for each of these awards, I hope to see that in boilerplates and in on hero cards and in press releases, because even just being nominated, I feel like isn't a feat in itself. Even if you don't win,
I see it as I see artists all the time, musicians specifically, talking about being a Grammy nominated, right?
Actors, movies,
actors, movies, and it's such a huge deal to, like you said, Mike, to even be nominated, and that's really why we are driving home these list of nominees, because
I hear that all the time. So and so nominated, Grammy nominated, whatever. All a show, that's almost as big as winning.
That's well, to kind of wrap up the ESPYs conversation, I was so disappointed that Erica didn't win that honor. She should have won it. I mean, there's no 3-time, what was it, her 4th championship she locked up? Is that right? Yeah. 4th championship she locked up. This epic back and forth battle, dominant performance. So much of it was riding on her shoulders, like her specifically. The cars were all very close. Every car that was involved had similar performance capability. And so many of these situations ended up with her needing to win on a hole shot, or her needing to be dead on in these super high pressure moments. And I was so, just speaking candidly here, so pissed off that what an opportunity for the sport of drag racing. What a moment. And again, I'm not trying to downplay the fact that it was a great deal that Erica was even nominated, but I personally took it really hard that she didn't win it.
What's cool is that she's in there with Lewis Hamilton, I think Jimmy Johnson was on.
I think that's what it was.
Her first year that she was nominated. I can't remember the rest of the nominees.
Might have been Kyle Larson. I can't remember who it was.
But I don't know. I don't know the criteria for that award. And people are asking, why didn't Torrance get that? I don't know what the criteria is. Who selects that? Who nominates? We'd have to dig more into that. But like we've always said, and you're saying now, that so much of that was riding on her shoulders. And we all know, as a pro stock driver, that's much more driver involved, not taking anything away from Top Fuel drivers or anything else, but obviously, you got to clutch, you got to leave, you got to shift gears, the whole deal. So it feels like the one glimpse where ESPN, mainstream media, is taking a tiny little peek into our world and actually bring someone up onto that big stage. So,
and I was so excited about it, and I think it's fantastic. So I don't want to downplay the significance of her being nominated for that award, but my argument is, by God, if they're not going to put drag racers front and center, we will. No problem. We have no problem doing that. We have no problem creating things, speaking things into existence. And you heard it here, man. Over the course of the next few years and the years to come, the Drag Illustrated Racer of the Year award will, without question, become one of, if not our sport's highest honors. That's how much juice and energy that we're putting behind it means a lot to us. And I'm genuinely excited to see this whole thing unfold. Let's talk briefly, and I do want to remind everybody, JT, I'm going to do your job here for a moment. Don't get mad at me, but I do want to remind everybody the biggest award show in drag racing coming up live February 3rd, 2022. That's a Thursday night. I hope all of you will join us. Set your calendars, set a reminder. We've got a whole show coming together for you guys. We're going to have multiple interviews. We're going to have some guest presenters. It's going to be, there's going to be some celebrities involved. We're genuinely excited.
Look at that. That looks like a CBS broadcast right
there. Do you like that? Yeah, I literally just ripped it off of ESPN. I was like, okay, I need a good idea for a banner here. But we got
a lot to live up to. There's a lot of hype.
There is a lot of hype around this, but that's just how I like it, to be honest. And I do want to remind everybody.